Hi guys, today I'm gonna share with you an experience going on a kayak tour to the mangroves of Zohra, and you can buy a plant for yourself.
Cheers, Zohra.
There we go. Cheers. At your tree, and the company will give you a location of your tree. We did this experience with guests of Accenture. It's located in Ajman, Zohra. Amazing experience. You guys need to go to it. And to plant the trees, we had to take the plants on the kayak. We had to paddle for the next 10 to 15 minutes to make it to the mini forest. Then there was a few minutes of walk in the mini forest where you get a nice briefing, all the knowledge about mangroves, and then we go for the plantation
Forest. But for those who it's the first time coming around, this tree is called the mangrove tree. Very specifically, it's a singular type of mangrove tree. It's called the Abyssinian marina. There's about 54 species all around the world. The one that lives in the Gulf region or in the UAE region is only the Abyssinian marina. You guys ever been to the beach here? Compared to your own country, see how salty here the ocean is. Yeah, it takes about 3 years for the same cup of water to travel the world and come back here. Once it enters the globe, it gets trapped for a long time until it exits to the ocean. Yeah, because of that, we also have a very shallow ocean. The deepest probably is about 45-50 meters depth. That's a very shallow ocean, which means a lot of evaporation happens. When evaporation happens, it leaves off salt, which increases the salinity of our area. This is why we don't have a lot of diversity in marine creatures around the ocean here, but as well as mangrove species. This is the only tree that can withstand this type of temperature, this type of soil, but most importantly, this type of salinity. Because mangrove trees live next to the coastal areas, they prefer 50% fresh water, 50% salt water type of environment. Abyssinian marina is the only one that can live solely on just seawater. Yeah, so the water that you guys were kayaking on, it all comes from the ocean. And you can kind of see, if you look down, you can see the water moving away slowly. Yeah, if you pay attention. This happens every 6 hours, and we call that the tide. Yeah, so the tide comes in for 6 hours, and it'll wash out for 6 hours, and it happens every single day. It'll change about 50 minutes every day. So maybe for those who came here last time, it wasn't as wet as it is today. So this happens, it changes every single day. But nonetheless, in about 6 hours time, this will completely wash away. Right, and then in another 6 hours, so basically at night, the water will come back in and water your trees. So the trees that you guys have today, once you plant them, they don't need to be watered. Yeah, the nature will take care of itself. The reason why you guys are here today and planting mangrove trees specifically is because they have the ability to take 3 to 5 times more carbon than a rainforest in the same square meter. So they're very carbon efficient. But that's not the only reason we plant mangroves, right? It goes further beyond that. These are also coastal barriers, so villages that exist outside of mangrove are a lot more protected than those who are exposed to the ocean. So there's not much of a difference here, but when you go to countries like the Philippines, in Asia, in India, so on and so forth, these play a major role. The other important thing is this is a home to all the fish. Yeah, 75% of all ocean creatures in the ocean, their life starts in a mangrove forest. Yeah, so during their juvenile years, all the fish will come here, they should their eggs, and their juvenile years are spent here in a mangrove forest. The reason is because they find shelter easily under the trees, between the roots. They find shelter away from the bigger fish, but as well as from the birds itself. But in a low tide, all of this water will be narrowed down to the middle, and then all the fish is forced to go down to the channels. This will attract all the birds that hunt these fish, but it's still safer than the ocean for them, so they continue to stay here until they're big enough to go to the ocean. Because it attracts a lot of birds that hunt for fish and stuff like that, these tend to be smaller birds, they will attract bigger birds. Yeah, these are the birds of prey, like the falcons and the eagles, and it creates this beautiful ecosystem that we live in here. Your trees are also going to be, not all of them obviously make it out alive, some of them die away, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for the environment. Yeah, the trees that don't make it are nutrients for especially the crabs, but even the trees that are alive, there's still nutrients for the crabs as well. The crabs we have here are 2 types of crabs. We have the aquatic crab, we have the non-aquatic crabs. The one that feed on the leaves are the non-aquatic crabs. They are the smaller crabs like this, but they're also our farmers. What they do is, you guys go to the farmers always bore their soil before they plant their seed. It's the same concept, but crabs do this on a daily basis. They bore the soil every single day, and they let the soil be soft. They allow the soil to be soft and not rigid, which allows the roots to grow. But nonetheless, we'll go just a couple things about planting this tree. Once you plant this tree, there's about 3 roots. And the first root goes about a meter or so downward. We call that the vertical or the anchor root. Once the anchor root is achieved, this root actually spread sideways. Yeah, these are called the cable roots, and they all entangle neighboring trees. walking through the bridge and stuff. These are called the pneumatophores. These are also the roots of the tree itself. They shoot back up to the atmosphere. Any tree in the world needs oxygen for itself as well, but they can find it in the soil. The soil is very anaerobic. There is no oxygen in it, so the root actually goes against gravity looking for oxygen. Yeah, and it finds it in the sky, basically the atmosphere. Just like our skin, where we have pores in our skin. Yeah, during low tide, these pores open up in the roots, and they trap oxygen from the atmosphere. And when it's a high tide, when the water floods in, they close off, yeah, and allow the tree to use that as a secondary source of energy to survive those next 6 hours. Because this tree does a lot of work by filtering most of the salt, which is filtered most of it in the roots. A little bit of it off the leaves, but most of it is filtered through the roots. Very heavy process for the tree. It needs a lot of energy to do so. This is the mechanism the tree goes through. But nonetheless, I will just show you guys basically how to plant one here. I will not plant mine here. The main concept of planting your tree is it needs a body next to it. Yeah. So you need to plant your trees about. If this is one tree, I need to plant mine around here. So this is the kind of distance you want between each tree. Please do not plant it like this. And this is too close. They'll have competition in the nutrients in the soil. Only one of them will make it alive. So you want to make sure that they're quite far apart, but they're not too far apart where it doesn't have anybody around it to entangle into. So they all need to hold each other like a big family.